Alright, in a previous video, which I'll link down in the description, we looked at how we can use Pythagoras' theorem to find the length of the hypotenuse. Now remember, the hypotenuse is the longest side of a right angle triangle. It's also the side that's opposite the right angle. And we used this formula: the hypotenuse length equals the square root of one side squared plus the other side squared. And that was just my variation, or my twist on Pythagoras' theorem, which was, c squared equals a squared plus b squared. And the reasons I said I like to use this is that a, b's and c's can get confusing if your question has x, y's and z's or other letters. Also, a lot of people forget to undo the square at the very end. So if you remember this version of Pythagoras, then I'm going to show you it's pretty easy to apply it to questions where we need to find one of the other sides. So in my right angle triangle, I've got a hypotenuse and I've got two other sides. Here's the twist on this particular form of the formula, or the way I like you to remember it as this form, because if I need to find one of the sides instead of the hypotenuse, all I do is I swap those two over and I change my plus to a minus. Okay, so I'm going to go back and do that again because it's pretty important you get that. That's what we started with. So that was the formula we used to find the length of the hypotenuse. But if it's one of the sides I have to find, swap those two and turn the plus into a minus. Now let's apply that to some actual numbers. I've got a right angle triangle. I do have the length of the hypotenuse here, so I've already given that. So I'm going to be finding the length of one of the other sides. So I'm going to use this form of my Pythagoras theorem. And all I do is I plug in the numbers that I have. The hypotenuse is 5, so hypotenuse squared will be 5 squared, minus this side that I'm given, which in this case was the 3, so 3 squared. And I could put that straight into my calculator now, or these numbers aren't too hard. 5 squared is 25, minus 9 is the square root of 16. And if you put that straight in your calculator at that point, you'd get the answer of 4. In other words, the length of the side that we didn't know was 4 centimeters. Let's try one more with some decimals in it this time. Remember, this is the form when we're trying to find the length of a side. Just use this: the hypotenuse squared minus the side squared, all inside a square root symbol. Now in this question, we're given the hypotenuse, it's 12.1. We're given one of the sides, it's 3.5. So I'm just going to put those numbers straight into my formula. 12.1 squared for my hypotenuse minus the other side squared. I can put that straight into my calculator and it will spit out a value of 11.5827. Now these are rounded to one decimal place, so I will round this off to one decimal place as well. And if you're not sure how to do rounding, I'll put a link in the description as well to a rounding off video. But we worked out that the length of that unknown side was 11.6 kilometers using the magic of Pythagoras. Great job, guys. Well done.